So, the biggest thing that I learned about parasites is that those of us that have a habit of loving others and pouring love on others, taking care of others before we take care of ourselves. That would be part of why our bodies are not offloading the parasites the way they're supposed to be. And so it's simple things like doing a face mask, detoxing. Those that have lived in poverty have not had access to the healthier items. They've had access to the cheap knockoff items. And so, I'm evaluating a lot of things during my parasite detox right now. And so this would be why our bodies are not releasing parasites or have become over inundated with parasites. This is the whole parasitic system. We've had parasites, parasitic people sucking us dry. And so we've not noticed the parasites in our systems. And so if you have parasitic people around you, then the science is that the parasites in your system will attract parasitic people. And the parasites in your system actually depict what kind of parasitic people will be attracted to you. And so the best way to basically offload both of them at one time is to start giving yourself more care time, because then you don't have time for their drama or their crap. And so this I'm going to recommend. This is Brittany's Time Organic Integrity Organic Charcoal Facial Mask. Yeah, who doesn't want to zoom in? So the ingredients are organic aloe, organic witch hazel, bentonite clay, organic charcoal, organic arrowroot, organic glycerin, organic beeswax, organic candelia wax, organic orange. Parasites hate this. Breathe it in. We all have parasites, they're in our skin, in our clothes. We've been using synthetics. Those of us that have lived on the Poor Mama program all of our lives, our bodies got used to synthetics. So essentially, to offload the parasites, offload the things that are making us sick, we have to start taking care of ourselves differently. And so what I found out is that the parasites are no longer responding to the treatments that used to work. And so I've had to ramp things up a bit. And so I've gone out and I've gathered local foliage, local herbs. I've been introducing different things into my diet. I've had to do some extreme things to offload my parasites. And so this is the whole reason I spent most of my life, well, it's not the only reason, but I spent most of my life in fight or flight. According to what I know, this would be the reason why people had the instinct to want to delete me, would have been the parasites in my system. All signs point to I was born with a high parasite count from the get-go, which would have made me more prone to parasitic behaviors. And so I did the spiritual awakening journey, and what people need to realize is that is to train your parasites right out of you. By picking up better habits, by doing things differently, essentially it stops catering to the parasites hidden in our systems. And so that's why it's important to run an actual program, no different than someone trying to rehabilitate off of drug abuse or any kind of abuse, any kind of addiction, they have to run a program and retrain themselves to do things differently. And if they never run that program, then it doesn't work until you work it, so work it until it works. You have to create a program that's a get well program of some sort. And so they have people out there living their lives willy-nilly, trying to keep up with the Joneses, trying to copy celebrities, trying to copy, like, ever notice how all of a sudden some movie is playing out in your life because the person you're interacting with watches a lot of TV and they feed off of that drama. Parasites like to feed off of drama. Essentially, my central nervous system tends to shut down around drama, and that's because my nervous system just doesn't like it, which means my body is absolutely ready to cough up the parasites. And so if you find that you're feeding off of drama, then you've given too much control over to your parasites. So there's going to be sugar worms, there's going to be hookworms, there's going to be flukes, there's going to be T. gondii, there's going to be roundworm, there's going to be all sorts of parasites in our systems that are hijacking it, turning you into Joan of Arc, making you think you have 9 lives, giving you a sense of intelligence, and this is how spiritualists, essentially, the science of it is how Celtic seers knew things was by mingling with this person or, intercourse of some sort. They would catch the person's parasites and then they would know things. And so essentially, by being close to death and having near-death experiences, one has awakenings that, like, their body, their survival instincts will not let them sleep to different things. And so that's essentially where my system is at, is my survival instincts have been turned on because too many people were trying to delete me at one time. And essentially it could be as simple as, it was on a subconscious level, I want to say. Like, I'd like to think that it was their subconscious. I don't want to think bad things of people. So the science of it is it was never personal against me. It was personal against the parasites controlling me. And things should be different once my parasites are gone, which is why I have to hermit and give things time and see what happens. On an alchemical level, as I do these exercises with myself, the weather changes, people change, things are changing everywhere right now. And it's my understanding that the science that I'm doing on myself is like an Illuminati Masonite level of science of things. And essentially what that is I play out different scenarios. No, the world is not ending, but the scenario would be if grocery stores are no longer available, what would I do? And so for a very short period of time, I play out a scenario. I'm not in any sort of a crisis, but I play that scenario out, and then I conquer that fear of if grocery stores are no longer available, I have a plan. And so that's just an example. In different areas, I've done this for myself to eliminate my fears. And so essentially, on a spiritual level, this knocks over etheric dominoes and sends ripple effects through the stratosphere that we cannot see. And on a metaphysical and quantum physics level of things, it alters the planet's reality of things. Because as I do this, I'm intentionally sending messages to the planet, communicating like an indigenous person or like a caveman would, on a soul level with nature. And, I can't necessarily, I cannot depict, I can only theorize what would or could happen, what should happen, nature's response to what I'm doing, or other people's response to what I'm doing. But until anything happens, it's only a theory. And so I do things, and then I have to wait 1 year to check the ripple effect of that. And so time seems to drag by slowly for me. And so I've filled my time with learning the science of all things. Right now I'm going to be teaching people how to offload their parasites. And the first way to offload your parasites is to learn how to love yourself. And so essentially, I'm allowing myself to be the childish version of me so that I can repair it myself, which comes with a lot of hard knocks. And so parasites, learning a new diet, learning how to cook, learning how to make friends, learning how to do new projects, learning how to be a completely different person than I was in the past. And the science of it is what changes me changes reality. And so what people need to understand is these celebrities have played in so many movies that they have lost touch with their core self. And by copying them, you basically are doing black magic. By copying what other people are doing, you run the risk of doing hoodoo, voodoo, sorcery, and things that you actually do not want to do. And this is what's bringing us misfortune, by copying other people. But we're all like stuck in some sort of monkey mentality where we have no choice because things are changing and we all have to adapt in some way. And so on like the soul follows the science. And so I'm doing things on more of a scientific level, because I want to be able to explain these things to other people. First things first, if you have parasitic people in your life, and you have a parasite outbreak, then both need to go. By taking the time for yourself to process thoughts, teach yourself a new logic, give yourself time to be a child, mandatory coloring time, playtime. What I learned was that most of us, our childhood was stolen. And so that stole our creativity. And by giving ourselves moments to be creative, it reshapes us as grown-ups so that we can function in the changing world around us. We can learn to change. Essentially, what happens is the world learns to adapt to you instead of you having to adapt to the world. That's the science of the therapies that I do with myself. And so essentially, by going into inner child mode and giving myself a new discipline, it forces other people around me to have a new sense of discipline as well. So my healing becomes their healing. And so what I do for myself has a measurable benefit output for other people around me. I used to have anger problems, and so when we display those anger problems and that negative side of us, it has a negative impact on our atmosphere. The frequencies, even if you don't come into contact with other people, that negative frequency is an energy that has a negative impact on the planet, your pets, the walls of your house. Like, you can traumatize your clothes. I dare say my hair is traumatized by the energy that has come off of me. Plants will burn up in your, like, you'll have a terrible time growing plants. Electronics, things that plug in won't want to work around you. There's all sorts of symptoms, and this all circles back to parasites. One thing has everything to do with another. Everything connects on some level. And so if you take time to start looking at this and start processing thoughts, that is the art of doing nothing, is make yourself take time, and instead of procrastinating, use that time for mental processing. And then journal what you mentally processed. Or decide 3 changes that you will make in your everyday life. Like, keep it simple. Just do 3 changes per month. And this is where the world has set such high expectations. We don't have to be Tony Robbins. So essentially, choose 3 changes. It takes a month to retrain habits out of yourself. Then it takes about 3 months to recover from retraining yourself. Because you go through a certain amount of withdrawal symptoms from not being able to be your normal self from these changes. And so that has an effect on the central nervous system. And so this is where, that whole serenity prayer, this is where we make it the opposite. They focus on the things that you cannot change. It's the serenity prayer goes, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, and the courage to change the things that I can, and the courage to know the difference. Yes, there are some things that you cannot change. Instead of focusing on what you cannot do, focus on what you can do. And what you can do is make positive changes in your own life instead of waiting for other people to do that for you. And so this is where pick 3 changes, even per month, per year, whatever works for you. Block it out in 3 months, block it out in 4 months. Set a realistic time frame on yourself instead of expecting change to happen overnight. Because change takes years. It takes years to recover from the trauma of our childhood. It takes years to get back the childhood that you never had the opportunity to have. Because we were parentified and forced to be grown-ups when we were children, we simply are going to need this time. And so take the time to be a kid. Put on a face mask, paint your face, whatever sounds like fun. It's time for people to simply just go have fun. And if it's not something you would see a kid doing, doing a line of things you shouldn't do, play in the gray, but at the same time, know your boundaries, or this is where you learn them. Set boundaries for yourself. It's when you stop setting boundaries for yourself that you stop setting boundaries with other people, and then you get taken for granted, taken advantage of. And we're trying to do the opposite right now. Stop taking yourself for granted. Stop taking advantage of yourself. And this is where growth and healing starts. I'm going to be working on therapies with people, and yes, at first I'm handing it out for free, giving people samples of what life could be. And then I'll make you pay for it. I'm going to create an app that helps people track their changes, decide their changes. Essentially, it's called The Gentle Unburdening. And it reframes one's life when they are rehabilitating from something, whether it's a bad marriage, a bad childhood, a bad experience. It helps you focus on yourself and doing things differently instead of stressing about what you're not able to do.